Beginning of linear algebra students, I got asked, what are parameters and how do I find them? So, section 1.2 from the book Linear Algebra with Applications, open educational resource at the following link, has an exercise that says, we have an augmented matrix and we want you to solve it. We've given you some leading ones with zeros below the ones, and we only have 4 equations, but we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 variables. Now when I write them, I write x sub 1, x sub 2, x sub 3, etc. But when I speak, I just call them x1, x2, x3 because I'm lazy. Okay, the bottom line, 0 equals 0, basically, means, okay, one of the equations, this equation was the same as one of the above equations, and when we did our leading ones, then everything subtracted out. So we basically are left with 3 equations and 5 unknowns. If it had been 17 on the right and 0 still on the left, that would have meant 0 equals 17, which is inconsistent. Warning sign, there's no solution for this. If the 17 had been on the left, basically 17 x3 equals 0, then that would mean x3 equals 0, which is fine. You can have an equation where x3 equals 0. It's a consistent system. I mean, 0 is just a number. It doesn't mean it doesn't exist. In this system, it just means there's no input from x3. So, back to the original. Where we have leading ones, we're going to have equations. So x1, x2, and x4 are going to have equations. The remaining 2 variables get assigned to be parameters, and we just give them a label because they can be any number you want. So I call them t and u. The book likes to use s, but my s's look like 5s and vice versa. So t and u. And then we start from the bottom up, and the first equation is going to be with x4. And using our equal sign from the augmented system, it's basically x4 minus x5 equals 0. We know what x5 is. It's u. So x4 minus u equals 0, or x4 equals u. So basically this means x4 is also a parameter. Parameters are where we say, okay, I'm just going to pick a number like t equals 100 and u equals negative pi. It can be any number I want. It's just, this is just going to be a number that's assigned. It's going to change as x5 does. They're matched. Okay, x2 is the next leading one from the bottom. And this equation is basically x2 minus x3, there's no x4, plus an x5 equals 1. We substitute in what we have, our parameters in this case. So x2 is just going to be 1 plus t minus u. Okay, the last one uses all the variables. x1 plus 2x2 plus x3 plus 3x4 plus x5 equals 1. So let's get the matrix out of here, because we're going to need the room. x2 is kind of busy. So we substitute it in, and we'll say 2 times what x2 is, that whole equation for x2. Then we distribute the 2 and combine our like terms, come up with an equation that can be simplified a little bit more because we have like terms again. x1 plus 2 plus 3t plus 2u equals 1. And then I was going to get everything on the other side, and it took me, I am embarrassed to say, 3 attempts to realize that if I'm subtracting 2 on both sides, then I have 1 minus 2, or -1. I kept writing -3. I'm so embarrassed. So x1 equals -1 minus 3t minus 2u. And that's how you find your parameters and your equations and you solve your system. I hope that helps.